So this is a little response video. Instead of typing it all up, I think it's better to just quickly make a video like this and explain, because I love questions like this, especially if it's like in a respectful manner, and I hate this bashing each other. And I think that if church was to give answers to like deep questions like this, people would actually come to church. I mean, like, your children they're being taught 7 day, like 5 days a week, and you think that one Sunday is going to be enough of like a Jonah story, and it's not. And I think that people love truth, they are thirsty for truth, and they do want to know, and it just takes people to like explain however they can with their understanding. So that's what I'm going to do. So the question was, why God can't just kill Satan now? And my answer was, he will, and he can. We just have to consider like the whole bigger picture, and that there is a timeline, like of history that first has to go down like that. So in Revelations 20:10, it already tells us that Satan will be thrown into the lake of fire. And Jesus said that in Matthew 25, he said, then he shall Then shall he, which is Jesus, say also unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for, fill in the blanks, the devil and his angels. So hell is already prepared for him. He's not the ruler of it. No, he's going to be thrown into it. But until then, I understand the question, and we've all asked this question before. Why can't God just kill him now? So to understand that, you have to understand who God is. Like, what is his character? What is his nature? Is he one to just give instant justice like this? And if it was the case, then we should all be afraid, because we're all rebels. We've all sinned against God. So if he was to just give justice to like what you consider the worst people, then where would it end? You know what I mean? So it's good that he doesn't do that. It's good that he has the wisdom to plan everything, and already, like when he tells us of a prophecy or something will happen, like it will happen. Like, he's faithful, and he's honest, and he's true. Like, he's not someone who would lie. So in Exodus 3:14, because that's when I gave it a thought, that's what popped into my head. God said to Moses, I am who I am. Meaning, like, you take it or leave it. Like, this is who I am, and how he runs things. And when you get your own universe, you can, like, make up the rules as you go. But as for now, in Psalms it says he's the everlasting, eternal God. So, like, 1,000 years is like a day for him. Like, he doesn't see time. God doesn't see time like we see time. We're just living in the now, and he sees like the whole thing. It's almost like he played out the whole humanity story and then rewinded it and pressed play. Like, we're like so short-sighted. And he's a judge. He's love. He's truth. He's mercy. And he's always in line with his word. Like, that's what his character is. We can see that from the word, from scripture, and then also from how Jesus was when he walked this earth, because Jesus and God are one. Like, they're one. You know what I mean? And so Jesus came to earth like Neo. He injected himself into humanity and defeated Satan from like the inside. Like, he overcame like everything that Satan could throw at him. And this is the thing, like, Satan is like the father of lies. Like, many people don't know, like, he inhabited heaven at some point as Lucifer. God didn't create the devil. He created Lucifer, a glorious angel, and he rebelled against him. And when he fell, that's how he became the devil, or Satan, or the adversary, the one that always like comes against us and wants to destroy God's creation. And that brings me to like another point, like free will. Like, God's creation, all of us, we have free will, even though God uses everything to his glory. Like the story with Joseph, like, his brothers planned bad for him, but somehow God brought something great out of it. Read the story. He became like Pharaoh's right hand man, and he fed like the whole nation. Joseph at the moment couldn't understand, like, why would God let something like that happen to me? But God knew, like, God saw the bigger picture. So we do have an adversary, like some either you believe it or you don't, and the more you know about your enemy, the more you can fight it. Like if you already are like, oh, the devil, like it's fairy tale and he doesn't exist, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's there. And the word clearly tells us of who the devil is, what his intentions are, and that he has no truth in him. And even just with the beginning in the garden, how he tempted Eve, like he could only whisper. He can't, like, you will already do what you wanted to do, you know, or you choose life. You choose death or you choose life. Those are the two options. And just ignoring the fact that Satan is real, you can live your life like that and Satan already has you and you will follow where he goes. And this is ignorance. I hate ignorance. Like, know the stuff. Like, educate yourself, ask questions like the person did here, and I love that. And I'll try and explain it to you the way I know. So the third point is there's spiritual laws in place as well. So I actually wanted to read you something, which was pretty cool. I guess the website didn't work for you, so I'm just going to read it to you. Imagine that a teacher is telling his students how to solve a difficult problem. A clever but rebellious student claims that the teacher's way of solving the problem is wrong, implying that the teacher is incapable. This rebel insists that he knows much better ways to solve the problem. Some students think he's right, and they also become rebellious. What should the teacher do? If he throws the rebel out of the class, what will be the effect on the other students? Won't they believe that their fellow student and those who joined him are right? All the other students in the class might lose respect for each other, thinking he's afraid of being proved wrong. But suppose the teacher allows the rebel to show the class how he'd solve the problem. God has done something similar to what the teacher does. Remember that the rebels in Eden were not the only ones involved. Millions of angels were watching. That's in Job 38:7 and Daniel 7:10. How God handled the rebellion would greatly affect all those angels and eventually all intelligent creation. So, what has God done? He has allowed Satan to show how he would rule mankind. God has allowed humans to govern themselves under Satan's guide. So, you get what I'm saying with this? Like, what would be the solution with just destroying Satan, who is a spiritual being? That wouldn't like solve the problem of us like still having like that in our hearts and rebellion in our hearts and still wanting to like do everything independent of the one who created us. And still like there's been wars since the beginning, and you know, God fights his wars, yes, but he's not involved in like private wars and battles and murders and killing and stuff like that. So like what I'm trying to say is that just killing Satan wouldn't like do much. You know, like that wouldn't solve much because he's puny. Like in the end we'll see how small and tiny he was and how he deceived the whole world. Like how could this be? So it was a good question, and I just wanted to read you one more thing. In Proverbs 34 it says, "Who has gone up to heaven and come down? Whose hands have gathered up the winds? Who has wrapped up the waters in a cloak? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is the name of his son?" So humanity governing themselves is not working. And just remember who God is and like look at it from like his perspective, you know? So God reigns over evil. You know, he overcame the devil. Now it's like a choice. It's up to us now.